plans. I have watched the way you've been led astray by their shadow hands. You gotta dig a little deeper to know just where I stand. I would tell you all about it, baby, but I'm shadow banned. Shadow banned. Shadow banned. Shadow banned. There's a war of information across our promised land. Now do you believe January was worse than Vietnam? Try to see through the illusion, two sides of the same scam. I would tell you all about it, baby, but I'm shadow banned. Shadow banned. Shadow banned. Shadow banned. I've heard their big solutions, I've read their shadow plans. I have watched the way you've been led astray by their shadow hands. Gotta dig a little deeper to know just where I stand. I would tell you all about it, baby, but I'm shadow banned. Shadow banned. Shadow banned. Shadow banned.
You are listening to This Week in Clown World with Ben and Hobbs, so sit back, relax, take your black pill, and enjoy the show.
Good evening, fellow harmful extremists. Wow. If you're wondering what that song was at the beginning bringing us in there, that was Ben De Laurentiis, Shadow Band. He's got a couple of other good songs. You can go on his YouTube channel or his various like Spotify and stuff and check him out. Got some good tunes over there. It's This Week in Clown World with Ben and Hobbs. I'm Hobbs. That guy over there's Ben. We got some news for you tonight, children.
Yeah, for everybody that likes to get their political updates from two random guys on the internet, this is your show.
Right. And I honestly get all of my news from random guys on the internet.
I mean, whose credentials are better? Two random dudes on the internet or CNN, MSNBC?
At this point, who's got a better track record?
Yeah, who's got a better track record? We've never lied to our audience.
Right. We may get things wrong, but we don't willingly lie to you.
Yeah, and this last week, a couple elections happened.
Yes, they did. Ben, question.
Yes.
If you do something and it hurts you, like, say, touch an electric fence or touch a hot stove, do you double down on it?
No, probably not.
You see, the talking heads at CNN and MSNBC, to kind of segue there from talking shit on the fake news media, they apparently are the type of people that will get shocked by the electric fence and be like, ow! Fuck you! And grab on with both hands, right? And just like try and ride out the lightning. Because big news out of Virginia, the literal nobody, a guy by the name of Glenn Youngkin, political nobody, is the new governor. A Republican.
I mean, who would have guessed people don't want their kids getting molested in bathrooms?
Yeah. So rather than take a lesson from, hey, maybe it's a bad idea to call everybody racists, maybe it's a bad idea to be pushing weird transgender stuff in high schools. Maybe it's a bad idea to put borderline pornographic material in children's school libraries and tell you that you're a bigot if you don't want it. Maybe instead of writing a letter to the Department of Justice to tell pissed off parents who don't want their kids indoctrinated into some weird neo-Bolshevik tanky bullshit, to call these parents domestic terrorists, maybe, just maybe some introspection would be in order. But nope.
Yeah, they doubled down all the
Oh.
time.
Oh yeah, it's the wonderful people over at MSNBC are like Glenn Youngkin has weaponized white rage to win the Virginia governorship, and meanwhile his lieutenant governor is black, female, immigrant from Jamaica, Marine Corps veteran, and apparently also a meme lord. So
Yeah,
good luck taking her on.
yeah. Probably one of the best things to come out of that will be getting her in the political arena.
Oh yeah, because she has just been dragging them across a bed of nails.
And meanwhile, it was crickets talking about that fact by the
Yep.
media.
Yep. Not only does he have the black female immigrant Marine Corps vet lieutenant governor, but he also has a Hispanic Secretary of State. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. One of our commenters down here was stage a white supremacy tiki torch stunt.
Oh yeah.
I think that if the race was close between McAuliffe and Youngkin, that there backfired spectacularly and pushed it over the edge.
Yeah, I don't even know what they were thinking with that. It doesn't even make any sense. That was the Lincoln. What was it? The Lincoln Project, who supposedly are Republicans that were fed up with the GOP or something. I don't.
Yeah, the Lincoln Project took credit for it, but I think that this might just be a
Oh,
stunt
they were the
that
fall
was-
guy.
Yeah. Well, they took credit for it, but I have a feeling that this was probably some cooperation. Like the DNC was like, "Hey, listen, we're gonna send some people dressed up as Charlottesville protesters, and if this backfires, can you make it be like it was you?"
Kind
And
of
then-
like how the Taliban takes credit for stuff once in a while.
Exactly. Just this had a political bloodbath and not a literal bloodbath.
Well, and that's what sucks is the mainstream media could at least pretend they're not completely partisan, and at least mention that lieutenant governor and that it was historic.
Mhm.
She's like the first woman elected to that, or the first black woman elected to that post, but no, they didn't even talk about it. And all the squad who's supposed to be about elevating black voices, they talked about every minority that got elected to a post except that one.
Yeah.
I mean, elevate black voices unless they don't meet your criteria, I guess.
Only the ones that have a D behind their name, apparently.
And speaking of that dumbass squad, AOC came out and said the reason that governor lost is because he wasn't bold enough. He wasn't progressive enough in what he was saying.
Just grab that electric fence, lick it if you have to.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder if the Democrats are going. Libertarians do the same thing. They fight over. Oh well, our messaging wasn't bold enough. That's why people didn't vote for us. You didn't talk about that 5-year-old should be able to get heroin.
yeah. That is one thing that I think that libertarian messaging really needs to chill out on, because most people they're concerned with pocketbook issues, or what they call kitchen table issues. They're not interested in the visibility for transgender webcam feet models or some crazy dumb niche sexual shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that seems to be what a lot of not vocal libertarians, but visible libertarians, like the Vermin Supremes and Star Childs, the ones that get a lot of publicity because they're just so out there. They focus on this like weird niche shit that's like, yeah, I don't care about the transgender foot model webcam sex worker issue because I don't know any of these people. What I'm interested in is the fact that gas is over $3 a fucking gallon and it costs $200 to get a steak at Costco. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, the media is kind of there. It looks like they're trying to make the whole inflation thing a joke. Like there was an interview with this family, and they were talking about how the price of milk. They go through 12 gallons of milk a week, and leftist Twitter just blew up on it. Like, what are they taking milk baths? Blah blah blah. We'll cut your milk drinking down. Well, it turns out this lady has 10 kids. Okay. So they were complaining how, even something little like the cost of milk going up is going to be huge for them. And that just shows, the cost of everything going up is going to be a burden on everybody. But the progressives are just trying to spin it like you're living in some sort of white castle on the hill and you're just burning money needlessly.
Right, it's like the progressive version of cut back on the avocado toast argument.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like they try to put the silver lining on the rain cloud by saying like, well, yeah, the cost of everything's going up, but hey, your wages are going to go up too, and it's like,
oh, what was that news story? The upside of inflation, higher wages.
It's like it doesn't matter.
And I don't know if they just. A lot of them subscribe to communism if they just don't understand how economics work, or it's some malicious intent on their part.
God, I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. The Hanlon's razor is mighty dull these days. I honestly have to start ascribing malicious intent because I don't think that stupidity is going to explain all of this away.
Yeah. Somebody over $20 gold coin is going to be over 200 again. Might even go up to 3,000.
Yep. Crazy.
Yeah, the dollar is, I don't know. At this point, it seems to me like the progressives were so pissed off about not being able to tax the evil rich people for so long that they're just like, all right, well, we're going to fuck everybody and cause inflation.
Oh, right. It's a kind of the other side of the Cloward and Piven thing. The Cloward and Piven thing was originally supposed to be kind of a grassroots way to bring the United States to its knees. Like, advocate at the grassroots level to bring in all sorts of third world people who would have to become wards of the state or starve to death and then eventually bankrupt the nation. But now the Cloward and Piven adherents are the ones in charge. So they're just like, fuck it, money printer go burr.
Yeah. And I've said it multiple times. It's obvious that the country's being run by idiots. And that's what, segue here. Did you see that race in New Jersey? The truck driver?
Oh, yeah. God. It warms my heart to see something like that. And that's not a joke. That's not hyperbole. So for anybody who hasn't heard about this man's name, I think it's Joe Durr or something like that.
Yep.
Durr. And he is an independent truck driver who spent $153 on his campaign and won.
He recorded his campaign ad on his phone and posted it on YouTube.
Yep. And not only did he win his state Senate seat, but the person that he ousted was a 7-time Democrat incumbent and the president of the New Jersey Senate, which, outside of the governor, makes him the most powerful politician in New Jersey. And for anybody who, apparently I heard this today on one of the podcasts that I listened to, apparently, as far as New England, it's pronounced Dirte. Don't try to church it up, Dirt. But no, it's Durr, not dirt. But apparently, as far as New England politics goes, this guy was, not only a high-ranking politician in New Jersey politics, but he was also kind of a kingmaker in New England politics. So for him to get ousted by a literal nobody, an independent short-haul truck driver with a cell phone camera and $153, and the $153 was spent printing out flyers and buying Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
That he walked around his district with a box full of donuts and a flyer and just talked to people. What are you concerned?
Go figure. That works.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
Did you watch any of the videos that he made?
No, I didn't.
He had a great one where he's like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but obviously these people don't either. So this is probably really dangerous for that political class, because this guy's going to get in there and he's going to do a job at least as well or better than the guy he replaced.
Yeah.
And, people are going to realize we don't need these big-headed elites that think they should rule over them. A truck driver with some common sense can get in there and do just as good a job as anybody else.
Yep, and that's kind of the advantage of living in a tiny little state that's densely populated like New Jersey, because apparently his district has 150,000 people in it, and he got something like 32,000 votes, and the other guy got like 31,000 votes.
Somebody says media is already attacking him as racist, xenophobic, and anti-Muslim. I'm sure he's the next coming of Hitler.
Yeah. Realistically, I doubt he's any of those things or even close to any of those things. But realistically speaking, this is exactly what the founding fathers had in mind when they set up our system of government. Just regular fucking people putting down their regular people jobs for a year, 2, 4 years, whatever, doing the people's work, and then going back to their regular job. That's how it was. I think that the term career politician would have made George Washington and his buddies sick to their stomachs.
Well, and they were building that off an idealized image of early Rome, when you had, Cincinnatus, who, they would go run Rome and then work was done going back to the farm.
Yep.
And that really is what they wanted, and now we've got to this point where people are just in there forever, and I don't understand why people keep voting for them. It's great to see that happen in New Jersey. I wish it would happen everywhere, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it's the type of thing that I told somebody at work today, that when a guy can spend $153 on his campaign against something like $5 million that the other guy had in his war chest and win, it really just goes to show how awful New Jersey Democrats are.
Well, I'm going to guess that guy was being stingy and didn't spend hardly any money campaigning until it was too late. Once he realized what was going on, it was across the Rubicon at that point. Speaking of what?
I said, speaking of the Rubicon and Rome.
What else happened this week in politics? We had that. Supposedly Joe Biden pooped his pants.
Yeah. He's just I can understand it. Being a Catholic, he was probably just really, really excited to meet the Pope. That's the excuse that I'm gonna go with. A buddy of mine sent me a meme that was Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo, and it said CNN anchors poop their pants on live TV to show that it's completely in solidarity, to show that it's normal. Yeah,
I don't think he probably pooped his pants, but it's one of those political rumors that it's believable. I mean.
Yes,
it could, like when they started that one that Trump got pissed on by hookers. It's like, I don't think so, but maybe. I mean, I could see the Don getting a bunch of hookers and pay him to piss on him because Melania won't. Just like, I could see Joe having a little issue and pooping his pants.
Yes. Somebody called it a bathroom accident, and I'm like, no, a bathroom accident is when you splash water on yourself when you're washing your hands. You like turn the faucet on too hard, and it like splashes on your shirt. That's a bathroom accident. The man shit himself. Just call it what it is. And what was the other thing?
Oh, the baseball player thing. I'm on the fence about that one. I think it was just Joe telling a stupid ass Joe story. I don't think it was any sort of dementia or him thinking the Pope was wearing a baseball hat or something.
Who knows? Although he did give one speech that I don't know what he was going for. Sky News Australia covered it and had a good solid laugh over it. He's up there talking about something, and he goes off and he says, as one computer said, when you're on the train and someone said,
one. Who knows what the fuck that was about?
Yeah, as one computer said, when you're on the train and someone says Portal Bridge, you got to make other plans. It's like,
I don't know why that one they grabbed onto the Satchel Paige one, which made sense if you listen to the whole thing. He was saying him and the Pope are like Satchel Paige, who was, Satchel Paige pitched into his 60s. But the one you're talking about, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, I don't even know like what it was supposed to be, because sometimes you can decipher it and see where he was trying to go with it.
Right.
But it was just out Portal Bridge on the train computer. Are you mixing up your weird stories there, Joe?
Then there was the other one where he's standing in the wings waiting and he's got his hands like Cornholio. Did you see?
Yeah, the town hall with the Vanderbilt air.
Yeah, that I don't know what the fuck was going on there. That was just out there. But
The
those
memes
two
were good.
Those two didn't get played up as much. It's like the GOP doesn't understand when to really hit on stuff. I don't know. Who knows what those two fucking parties think?
A lot of the establishment politicians in the GOP are still stuck in the respectability politics. They learned nothing from Donald Trump about just kicking them when they're down.
That was he was back on Twitter so we could see what he'd be saying about these Joe Biden.
It would be great. He's going to have his own social media platform, Truth Social. So we will have the Donald back on some type of social media. Now, whether or not it'll be worth a shit, I don't know. But I'm going to draft Nathan.
That was his straining pose. Oh shit! Like a toddler in the corner, huh? That was Joe on stage squeezing one out.
Yeah, taking a dump right there on a CNN town hall.
Jill Biden's over off screen. Oh, Joe, not here. Somebody brought up Rittenhouse. Yeah, we're gonna hit on that one for sure.
Oh God, yeah. It's Speaking of bloodbaths, that one.
The Kenosha Kid.
Oh God, the Kenosha Kid is out there. He's gonna get off, and it's not even gonna be close. Because if you've watched any of the trial proceedings or anything right now, it's like the prosecution. I think that the prosecution was watching the news and was like, "Oh shit, this is gonna be a slam dunk," and he took the case. And now that the evidence has come out in discovery and whatnot, he's just like, oh God, I am in way over my head.
Well, the thing that did you see the audio that came out today when the one pedophile was chasing him and Kyle yells, "Stop, I'm a friendly. And he keeps chasing him. And it's like, then it shows where the drone footage that came out. Yeah. It shows the guy going behind a car, hiding, waiting for Kyle Rittenhouse. And the defense is like, so would you say that this is an ambush?
Yeah. It's not going to look good for the prosecution or the state's case. But can we just kind of put a pin in that for a second and kind of move over to the fact that How weird is it that the FBI had a FLIR-equipped drone monitoring the whole thing, and this is the first that we're hearing about it?
They just happened to give the footage up. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Wonder what was on that drone. You think it would have been armed?
No, I think it was just an aerial surveillance plane, but still, the fact that the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation,
With audio on it, with directional audio too.
yes, that is terrifying.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. People kind of just glossed over that there's a FLIR equipped FBI drone just zooming around the riot sites.
and this is the first that we're hearing of it. That I think is more to the point that I think is a little bit unnerving. The FBI having the capabilities of having the FLIR equipped drone with directional mics in the air over something that is, a fairly decent sized city burning to the ground. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. But the fact that footage wasn't released immediately after this.
And how many were there that it just happened to be that couldn't have been the only one then? Because what are the chances that it just happened to be looking there? There had to have been multiple covering the whole area.
Yeah. The FBI has a lot of explaining to do about a lot of things lately.
Now, and the other question is, maybe it had that audio system on it where it's able to track gunshots, you think? Because did it pick him up before he fired any even? I didn't notice that part.
Well, he wasn't the first one to pull the trigger. The drone footage, there was a guy.
Right. Right. Sure.
Yeah,
I know that now.
yeah. Somebody shot a pistol, and they don't know that if they shot the pistol up in the air or at him or off in a general direction or at somebody else. They don't know. They just know that while Rittenhouse was retreating, somebody somewhere shot a gun somewhere.
I remember seeing that video.
And that kind of kicked things into high gear. The violence has escalated, as they say.
Well, I'd like to see all the footage of the riots and protests. Somebody said, well, there should be a FOIA request available for it, I would think.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess the FBI has all that footage.
Yep.
And that footage really helped the defense's case, too.
Oh, yeah. But from what I've been hearing, the FBI didn't want to give up that footage.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They claimed to have lost it or got it deleted or any number of excuses that they gave. And eventually the judge called their bluff and subpoenaed them or something and got that footage.
So I wonder how they even knew that somebody must have dropped them a tip that, a sympathetic FBI agent was like, yeah, they had drones over there.
Yeah, that or, the judge probably knows a few things. But who knows? It's crazy.
Well, so yeah, that's the Kyle Rittenhouse update. I think you're right. He'll probably get off at this point. They'll probably get him with. He was underage for having that firearm.
Yeah, at most, that's what they'll.
And that's what he's going to come out with. Otherwise, he was looking at life in prison. Which, if that happens, obviously they're just trying to prove a point.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What else did we? Oh, vaccine mandates.
Victrola mandates.
Oh, whoops, Victrola. Yeah. The old Victrola mandate coming due January 4th.
Yeah, they decided to not do it on the November 22nd, the Thanksgiving weekend, except for federal employees. So good luck getting through an airport when the TSA agents are like half of what they should be on Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know what's going to come of this. Are we just going to have mass disruptions again or what?
I don't know. I'm hoping that a lot of these companies just tell them to get fucked and like
And don't do it.
Yeah, it's like it's something like a $13,500 fine per instance, like per employee who doesn't meet any of these guidelines. The business could be fined like $13,500 or whatever. I'm hoping that the companies are like, okay, you've made your ruling, now let's see you enforce it.
Mhm.
I mean, are you going to send an OSHA agent to my place of business and make me cut you a check at gunpoint? How are you going to extract this money?
Well, that's the thing. OSHA's never been an enforcing agency. I don't understand how they're weaponizing OSHA. I mean, that sets a really shitty precedence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Somebody wait up. Wait, y'all touch on JFK's alleged.
I only saw something about this in passing. I have no idea what that like some QAnon conspiracy.
I had no idea QAnon was still believing their bullshit. Did you?
This has got to be a psyop to be like, okay, if anybody believes us after this, then they are truly mentally retarded.
Sorry to get off the COVID thing, but this is a way better story. So apparently QAnon believers gathered in Dallas at JFK's assassination site because at midnight JFK Jr. was going to reappear. He wasn't really dead the whole time. And he is actually the real president at this point.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Donald Trump is going to be dissolving the government somehow.
I have no idea what the justification for any of that would be.
I just can't believe there's still people that are buying into it.
Wouldn't JFK be in his 90s by now?
JFK Jr. JFK was 104, and supposedly he was going to come back too.
Lord.
So I don't know. It's scary that these people are voters, I guess. They follow Trump to the T. I don't know. I don't know what you do about how you even snap them out of it, and who's the one that's egging them on. It blows my mind.
Yeah, sorry.
I
had to give Piggy his bottle.
Oh, whoops. So I'm curious and every time something comes to pass that doesn't happen, they're like, oh, well, Trump must have decided it wasn't the right time.
It's like people making excuses for end time prophecies that never happen.
That's all it is. It's just an adapted end time prophecy. Apparently he did not want the bottle. You're just gonna.
I don't know. I'll have to yell at Angela to come get him.
Give him a titty.
No, he's past that. He's got too many teeth for that.
Uh-oh. I guess when you do LSD, anything is possible. Somebody said. I don't know. Something's going on with him. All of QAnon. Not. This is the age that podcasting gets hard to do. Somebody said, "Yeah, we'll work through it." We've had a couple of his appearances on the show. I've said I was going to cut his pay if he did it again. So, I mean, I guess that's what's coming. You'll have to dock him, Hobbs.
Yeah, yep. He's not going to have any more Cheerios after this.
Where are we on the vaccine mandates? Yeah, so they're gonna January 4th, probably disruptions if people go on strike again, like the airline employees did. Pete Buttigieg on maternity leave. You should. Well, that's one of the things that's the showdown right now in the House is, medical leave. They want to have federally mandated medical leave so that your employer doesn't have to pay for it, but the government will pay for you to have up to 6 weeks off for, maternity or paternity leave. If you get sick, you'll get 6 weeks off. And the showdown is Manchin doesn't want the feds to have to pay for it. He wants to kick it back to the businesses. So now everything's on hold over medical leave. And I don't know. it just seems like they can't get anything done. You got Manchin and Sinema on one end, and you have the rest of the Democrats on the other, and they can't decide if they want to kiss their ass to get something through or just burn the whole thing down.
Isn't this like the libertarians' dream though? The government that exists but can't get
No, it's
anything
great.
done.
Yeah. If they don't get anything done, that's fine.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? I mean, this could go on for 4 years and it'd be just great. You know, the problem but they don't want that to happen because, you know, like with the truck driver getting elected, you know, if the government doesn't do anything for 4 years and everything's fine, people are going to realize it's all been bullshit.
Yeah. That's why government shutdowns are so awesome. You know, it's like, oh, the government's shutting down. Oh no, what are we gonna do? And I'm like, live my life. Get up.
I'm always surprised in government shutdowns they don't keep paying the military. It seems like the one group that you might want to keep a little bit happy.
Well, that's the whole point of the government shutdowns is that they take hostage Social Security payments, military pay and benefits. You know, all of the stuff that pretty much everybody can agree that we kind of like having a military. We like taking care of our senior citizens, even if it's done awful, you know, but, you know, all these things, you know, national parks and national monuments and things that people generally like, they shut down. But Congress still gets their paycheck. All the dumb shit that nobody likes still gets paid and still gets funded. The IRS is out there still harassing people.
I thought it was great when the national park shut down last time, and then people started cleaning up after themselves and emptying the trash, and then they banned that.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you can't get by without us. You can't prove that you don't need us.
Right. You know, it's once the people have to start cleaning up after themselves, it's like, oh crap, they're learning. Once the tragedy of the commons goes away.
I don't know. The military is a different story, though. That seems like a group that you wouldn't want to see how far you can push them without paying them.
Yeah, the bonus army from right after World War One.
Yep.
You remember that story?
Mm-hmm.
They had tanks on the White House lawn. I mean, granted, they were World War One tanks and they were the size of a Volkswagen, but they were still tanks.
Yeah. The IRS has plans to collect after a nuclear attack. That's a real thing.
Yes, they do.
I would not doubt it one bit.
Yep, it's part of the continuity of government plan. The IRS, after basically a collapse of civilization, the IRS has contingency plans. Slimy bastards.
Well, the government has a contingency plan for everything. That's why they're so great. Yeah, so moving on, we had the mandates. What else did we have, Hobbs?
Well, let me just say before we move on, the only mandate that I'm interested in is when I take you out to a romantic candlelight dinner, Ben. That's the only mandate I'm interested in.
Oh, the Olive Garden?
Yeah, that's right. Get that unlimited breadsticks.
You know, and here's a little secret, too, about we saw the supply chain was so fragile. You know, it just what we talked about at the Right Now manufacturing. Didn't we talk about that?
Yep, just-in-time manufacturing.
Just-in-time manufacturing. The other scary thing is our information infrastructure is kind of ran the same way. Everything is built just good enough. You know, there's no backups for anything really. So if we see these mandates with IT staff quitting or, you know, people that maintain cellular networks not getting vaccinations, it's going to come crashing down pretty quick. Like, you remember the outage that Facebook had? Did you ever hear what the reason was behind that? So Facebook had put everything in their system into the cloud, right? Because they were so solid that nothing would go down. So like people couldn't even get into the Facebook building to try and fix it because the cloud was down. They separated all their teams out. So like 3 separate teams. You had a guy that could get people into the data center, but he didn't actually fix stuff. There was a guy that could fix stuff, but he didn't actually program stuff. And then the guy that programmed stuff, you know, he wasn't even there. So that's why it took them so long to get their systems up.
And sounds like some union shenanigans.
Well, it's because everything's based on other stuff working. It's just like our supply chain. So once, you know, once the Facebook cloud system went down and the guy that gets in the data center couldn't get in the data center because the cloud infrastructure was down, it brought everything to a halt. And that's the same way with our, the global supply chain. Once one little piece of it breaks, the whole thing falls to shit. And it's still not working.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're still kind of feeling the backlog of that Suez Canal tanker that happened like 6
I had
months
some
ago.
shit show up at work today, and I couldn't figure out who ordered it, what the fuck it was. An hour later, we finally figured out that we ordered it over a year ago, and it had been back ordered that long, but that by the time it showed up, we'd forgot we'd even ordered it. So yeah, it hasn't got any better at all.
Yeah, it's I saw something. Glenn Beck interviewed a guy. He used to be the CEO of Toyota America, and he was talking about just-in-time manufacturing. And he said basically what I said about a year and a half ago about just-in-time manufacturing needing to go the way of the dodo because the world is so unstable right now. The just-in-time manufacturing is awesome, but that maximum degree of efficiency requires a maximum degree of stability, and things just aren't there anymore. So we need to kind of have a hybrid system of, not the full scale warehousing of supplies like we used to back in the day before automation and digitization and everything made just in time manufacturing a possibility, but at the same time, just being able to be like, hey, we're on schedule to make 5 cars today and have everything show up right when it needs to get put into the car and then roll the car out the door, like that is not a plausible business model anymore either. So something's got to give.
Yeah, somebody down here commented, big wigs at Shipping Corps. Shit's going to get worse through 2022 and 2023. I'm sure. And like we said last time, we can't fix it because, if we want to build factories here, the stuff to build the factories is in China.
Right.
So
that's what the Toyota guy was saying. He's like, 50% of the computer chips. He was just speaking of the automotive industry, but I'm sure it's across almost all industries. Saying 50% of the computer chips in the world come from Taiwan, and a total like 80 come from some Asian country, whether it's Taiwan, Vietnam, China, whatever. And in order to bring, it's not as simple as just like building a building and then making it here. You have to have access to the rare earth minerals that China has a near global monopoly on right now. You have to have access to the skilled labor necessary to make these things. And I'm sure it wouldn't take the United States long to educate the people necessary to do that. But the actual infrastructure needed to make these chip building plants is incredibly capital intensive, he was saying. So anywhere from 10 to 15 billion dollars to make one plant. It's insane.
Yeah, and that what you said there about 50% of the chips being manufactured in Taiwan, that's probably more of a reason than anything for West Taiwan to want it back, aside from, they think that it's part of their territory. They want those chips, I'm sure.
Well, not just that, but not just being able to have that manufacturing infrastructure, but if West Taiwan takes over true Taiwan, then they will have a gun to the head of the entire globe.
Yeah.
Because then they will have a near monopoly on the things that make the modern world work.
And all of a sudden, it seems like maybe encouraging manufacturing in Mexico wasn't such a crazy idea, but that never happened.
I wish it would have, because we're at least somewhat friendly. Manufacturing things in Mexico would have like killed 2 birds with one stone. Jobs in Mexico means that the legal immigration problem gets solved on our side of the border. It increases their standard of living on their side of the border, and it cuts the logistic line from the Pacific Ocean to, hey, a line in the dirt.
Mhm.
It would have been a win-win for everybody except West Taiwan.
We spent the last 20 years kissing West Taiwan's ass, and look where that got us.
They sharded right in our face.
Yeah. We should be more like India, which I brought this up.
Yes.
India was in talks with China over their border, or West Taiwan. Sorry, India was in talks with West Taiwan over their border, and apparently talks broke down. So India decided it was a good time to test a nuke.
Oh, yes.
You know,
They-
India, you don't hear a lot about them, but I mean, that's a huge population. And, you know, I don't think a lot of people even realize that they're a nuclear power.
Yeah.
That's not somebody that China or West Taiwan wants to fuck with.
Yeah, they are a nuclear power, and when most people think of India and nuclear weapons, they think of the beef that they have with Pakistan,
Mhm,
which is also a nuclear power.
mhm.
But yeah, India's kind of in a rough spot because they've got West Taiwan on their eastern border, nuclear power, 1.4 billion people. And then they've got Pakistan on their western border, which is also a nuclear power. They don't like each other very much. There's a lot of contested territories in there. So yeah, that's really India's only option at this point is to keep making babies and tell everybody it's like, we got the mutually assured destruction going on here. If you fuck with us, we will fuck everybody up.
Yeah, I think that's a situation that nobody wants to see. Is that, I mean, that would just be probably one of the bloodiest wars ever. just the people that would die alone from the weapons blowing up in their hands from the shoddy manufacturing.
Yeah, so says India runs a weird spectrum from absolute backwater to nuclear power with some really hard-ass military units. Well, West Taiwan's the same way. You know, we think of West Taiwan as being a, 1.4 billion people, the manufacturing powerhouse of the world, and our number one geopolitical foe on the world stage right now. But once you get outside of the coastal cities, the majority of the people in inland West Taiwan live in like sub-Saharan Africa levels of poverty. It's only like Shanghai, Beijing, and a couple of other coastal cities that have any degree of wealth and affluence. The rest of it is just like backwards, primitive people living in basically mud huts.
And I don't know enough about India to comment on what they're like, but I can't imagine that they have a poverty level that's much better.
Yeah, India, they still poop in the streets.
Designated shitting streets.
That's right. But, then again...
Also in San Francisco.
And there we go. That's what I was just about to say. San Francisco has designated shitting streets. The open air communal toilet, which is San Francisco, which I think it might be a good time to use that as a segue into This Week in Nonsense.
Yeah, we're getting down towards the end here. You can take this one away because I had not heard about this one at all.
Right. So in the Boogaloo chat, my boys over here in the chat, they see me. I see you guys. I see you. But they brought it to my attention a couple of days ago, and then a YouTuber called Shoe on Head did a video about it today. So I guess they must be kind of getting into the news. There is a group based out of San Francisco called Prostasia, which you go to their website, which you did, and they're like, we're a child protective service nonprofit that, I don't know what it says, they're against sexual abuse and everything. You're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. That sounds great. I think everybody would be on board with that. But then you start digging a little bit deeper. You find out who runs it, who works for them, who volunteers for them. And it turns out that a lot of the people who work for and volunteer for and run the place have some very sketchy and questionable pasts involving kitty diddling and other sordid affairs. Most of them are sex offenders of one stripe or another.
Catholic priests.
Yeah, some of them are. Some of them are people who get on social media and talk about map pride and all that other the euphemisms for trying to fuck kids. Basically, the map is the politically correct terminology for somebody who wants to touch children.
Minor attracted person, isn't that what? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it stands for, minor attracted person, but you're a pedophile. You're a pedophile. And they started up a forum, like a chat forum or something like Reddit or whatever, where it was basically a place for underage people to talk to pedophiles. And the whole thing is trying to normalize and destigmatize pedophiles. A lot of it is wrapping the pedophiles in the language and the terminology of the LGBTQ language. It seems to be an unholy marriage of the left's obsession and tolerance with niche sexuality, as well as the right's fixation on limitless free speech. That seems to be the argument that they're going for. They're melding these two concepts together and trying to normalize kid fucking.
Yeah, and some other nonsense right in our backyard, I guess. Did you see that report where the Nebraska Attorney General made the Catholic Church hand over their records of sexual abuse?
No, I did not. Run with it.
It's pretty much the same story you hear all the time with the Catholic Church. 285 cases of sexual abuse, most of them minors, and the Catholic Church just kind of would move them around and send them to counseling and hope they'd behave themselves. But spoiler alert, they didn't.
Who would have thought?
This was dating back all the way to the 70s, 80s, 90s. Most recent ones were the 2000s, but it seems like they got I don't know what they did, but the last decade that it's dove off a lot. So
yeah,
either they went more underground with it or they just quit doing it. I don't know.
Who knows?
The Catholic Church in this state has such a weird history with kitty diddling. The Franklin scandal. I don't know if any of our listeners have heard of that, but that's a rabbit hole that isn't a fun time. But it implicates all the way up to Washington, D.C. So if you have some time, go check out the Franklin scandal. Go check that out find it on Google and read the Wikipedia on it.
Yeah. Backtracking to the Prostasia thing. One little interesting thing that'll really rev your wood chippers into high gear is the fact that the headquarters building, or rather the address that they have on their website for their headquarters building, if you go to Google Street View and you take a look at the building, you do a 180, they are directly across the street from an elementary school. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we saved this nonsense shit for the end, because who'd want to start a show like that?
It gets dark. It gets dark real quick.
We've only had like 1 week where we didn't have a nasty pedophile story.
Right. It's go ahead and put another penny in the Alex Jones was right jar, because nasty kid fucking potbelly interdimensional goblins really are running America right now.
Well, with that, let's go ahead and wrap up the show.
Yep, might as well wrap it up there. Everybody have a good night, and thank you for watching us. Go ahead and pop on over to Roads, 2 Liberty.com and pick up some swag. Anything, Ben?
If you're on Facebook, go go like and subscribe our YouTube page. We're getting close to 400 likes. Maybe we need to do another T-shirt giveaway to get the numbers up there. Geez, I don't know what happened to the last T-shirt winner. She like got snatched by the boogeyman in her. She was in some Western Soviet bloc country. Remember that?
Yeah, from Bulgaria, wasn't it?
Bulgaria or some listener from Bulgaria watched us all the time. We sent her a shirt and like she vanished.
Yeah, it's odd enough that a woman won, but a woman from Eastern Europe is just like, how does that happen?
So hopefully the Stasi didn't grab her or something after they saw the shirt. I don't know. If you're still out there, Slava Boo, we miss you. Hope you're okay. So go to rose and number2liberty.com. Check out the shirts. I'll be posting about the shirt giveaway so we can get to 400 viewers on 400 subscribers on YouTube and we'll give away a shirt.
Sounds like a plan.